Now at 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, we're tracking the investigation into a shooting in Lexington. It has left a teenager in the hospital this morning.
In northern Kentucky, we're tracking the investigation into a home invasion that sent a woman to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head.
And tomorrow, the U.S. Supreme Court will discuss the same-sex marriage debate. We'll have a look at what couples are arguing for coming up this morning.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you, and it's so nice to have you on WKYT. We hope you had a great weekend, and here we are at Derby Week. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. We're not going to completely give it away quite yet, but let's just tease you a little bit and say that, you know, the weather next weekend for the Derby, it's looking all right.
Yeah. So how's it going to be getting there? Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, to be honest with you, it looks really good throughout much of your week. Toward midweek, you'll get a couple of showers, but for the most part, we're going to stay dry. The only problem is that it's cool. Remember, there's always something bad in the forecast. Either it's chilly outside, you have some rain. It's one or the other. You just can't have 70s across the board and a lot of sunshine. It's unfortunate, but you know, you live in Kentucky. What do you expect? 30s and 40s outside this morning. By the afternoon, 63 degrees. Yesterday, low 60s. Today, a couple of degrees warmer, but a lot of sunshine. So there you go. The focus of the forecast, just those cooler temperatures, they're sticking around and they're not really budging that much until we hit Derby time. Derby time, it starts to warm up, but how warm and what does the weather look like then? I'll show you that in your 7-day in about 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, and we thank you. And this weekend had quite a bout of severe weather in these parts. We're learning that at least 2 tornadoes touched down in Kentucky on Saturday.
The National Weather Service in Louisville confirms an EF1 tornado hit Adair County and an EF2 hit Edmonson County. Crews were out this weekend taking a look at all the damage. They say several barns, outbuildings, even a silo suffered major damage. And new this morning, Lexington police are looking for 2 suspects who shot a teenager late last night.
It happened just before midnight at the Continental Square Apartments off the Eastland Parkway. WKYT's Mark Barber is live near the scene with the latest on the investigation. Mark, what do we know at this point?
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Officers say that the teenager was shot in the tree line behind the Continental Square Apartments. Now, investigators tell us that the 16 to 17-year-old boy was found across the street at the entrance to Spencerian College around 11:30 last night. They think he was dragged about a block to Eastland Parkway after he was shot in the rear. The teen was taken to UK Hospital after he was found. No arrests have been made. Police tell us they are looking for 2 men in connection to the shooting. Investigators say they are still working to answer several questions in the case. According to police, they still don't know why the teen was shot, and they don't have a clear description of the 2 men who pulled the trigger. Investigators say that a detective has been called in to talk to the teenager, but we're told that the boy is not fully cooperating. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, a fire investigation turned into a death investigation in Mercer County. Firefighters were out battling flames at a former auto sales shop on Danville Road Saturday night. Crews pulled 2 bodies from the building. Firefighters say they also found a meth lab inside. Investigators are still trying to figure out exactly what caused the fire. The names of the victims have not been released.
Firefighters in Lexington were busy investigating a fire as well. This one was on Eureka Springs Drive over the weekend. We're told the building that caught fire was old and vacant. The wind was cause for concern for crews that were out on the fire scene yesterday. They were worried that gusts would spread or reignite the fire. Right now, they're not sure exactly what started it.
It's a vacant building, so theoretically nobody should be in it. There shouldn't be any reason for it to ignite. So like I said, the fire investigator's here. He'll be taking a look at it and seeing if he can make a determination.
The fire chief says the home can no longer be lived in. Well, new this morning, a woman has been flown to the hospital after she was shot in the head during a home invasion in northern Kentucky.
This one happened in Dry Ridge at a home on Michigan Avenue. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is at our live desk with a look into this rather bizarre case.
Good morning. Police say this wild home invasion happened as a group of people were playing poker in the basement of an apartment. A woman who lives there says just after 9 o'clock last night, 5 masked men broke in through the basement where that poker game was going on. She says that 2 of the masked men stayed in there with the 4 people playing poker, while the other 3 men came upstairs to where she was in her bedroom. That is when she says she got into a struggle with two of those intruders and was pepper sprayed by one of them. Meanwhile, she says her aunt was shot in the head by the other. Now, she was flown to University of Cincinnati Hospital. Kentucky State Police say it is still very early on in their investigation. No arrests have been made at this point, and at this point it is unclear what exactly was taken from the home during that invasion. At the live desk, Hillary Thornton, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Hillary. The U.S. Supreme Court is set to consider the future of same-sex marriage tomorrow. The court is expected to hear arguments involving same-sex marriage bans in 4 states, those being Ohio, Tennessee, Michigan, and Kentucky. Same-sex couples arguing for their marriages to be legalized have many reasons for wanting equality. Some want to be recognized on their partner's death certificates, while others want to both become legal parents of their adopted children.
This case is about the protection of our children. It is not about the individuals. It's not about her and my relationship. This is about ensuring that our children will remain together no matter what happens to her and I.
Well, Kentucky's hired outside counsel to argue before the Supreme Court, which will first consider whether states will be required to perform same-sex marriages. A decision could be handed down in June or early July.
The time this morning is 5:06 on WKYT, and we have an update to a story that we told you about last week. A dog that went missing for 2 years in Lexington is now back with her family across the country. Someone found Tilly, a 7-year-old Beagle mix, a little more than a week ago, just wandering the streets. Tilly disappeared in 2013, right before her family moved to Utah. A microchip helped identify her. A member of the Lost and Found Pets of Lexington Facebook page volunteered to drive Tilly to her family in Utah.
It is a long drive.
Was it worth it?
It was absolutely worth it.
Hi, sweetheart. I know. 2 years.
Sweet reunion. Donors paid for Tilly's trip home. What a great story.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. All right, let's see what is happening out on the roads this morning. Hopefully no traffic tie-ups to keep you stalled.
Well, let's look at Broadway and High Street, and things are looking clear there. And we have no reports of any early troubles. Micah giving us a good forecast, it sounds like, for most of the week. So hopefully everybody will be safe out there and make it a good one. Have your sunglasses along, you know, especially, you notice when the angles are down, the evenings, afternoons especially, it really can
be blinding.
Can be blinding. You got to be careful out there. All right, Monday morning on WKYT, a brand new week is underway, and it is Derby Week.
A conference in Arkansas attracted a lot of hunters this weekend, but they weren't necessarily after the kind of critters you would expect. We'll tell you what they're looking for.
Also, a summer blockbuster is already earning millions in ticket sales before it's even been released stateside. We'll have more on Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's coming up in Consumer News.
Mid to upper 30s for some, low 40s for others. Boy, it looks like a chilly start to the day, but I promise you this, a lot of sunshine and much better weather throughout your work week. I'll show you that coming up next.